Good morning. My name is Madalina Boico, and we are back live from DevTalks 2023. We are continuing our DevLine interviews, and I'm happy to introduce my next speaker. He is the head of Cloud Development Romania at One and One Romania, Livius Privanescu. Hello, Livius.
Hey,
Welcome.
Modena. Thanks. First, thank you for having this opportunity to be here. Last year, on the last DevTalks event, I was a speaker somewhere on the cloud and big data stage. And back then, we had to do it online. And right now, I'm happy to be here because it's a very nice atmosphere. It's a very nice event. And yeah, thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Livius. That sounds really nice. And you're a regular. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, just the second time, but trying to become a regular. Yeah,
Yeah, cool. You're always welcome. So see you next year then as well.
hopefully.
Livius, can you tell us a bit about yourself and about the company that you work at?
Sure. So I'm part of One and One Romania, Center of Development, Center of Excellence in Development, and part of United Internet Group. As part of the group, we are having projects and we are having teams that are working on three different lines of business, mainly media, access, and hosting, known as IONOS. I'm part of the IONOS, let's say, line of business. I'm part of the IONOS company, and I'm leading the development of cloud, IONOS Cloud in Romania. I'm leading the department here that is working on this.
For how long do you work with the company?
Oh, yeah, I think this year is going to be 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Started as a developer 8 years ago, and slowly trying to take a bit more responsibility. And yeah, here now I'm here. This is one. I'm not a single case in our company because this is something that we are trying to harvest. So we are trying to harvest growth. We are trying to harvest taking responsibility, taking ownership. Most of our teams have responsibility over the product. So they are product teams and they're having responsibility over the product that they are building. Interdisciplinary teams that are, working together with colleagues globally, really in Germany and in other parts of Europe, but are sharing responsibility over the product that they are building. And this makes it a great place for somebody that tries to grow and try to advance in his career. And I think I'm one of these cases.
Then I have an interesting question, I hope, for you.
Sure.
How do you expect AI to change the course of your company in the next years? And I'm saying it's interesting because you already have a background in the company, so it would be cool for us to know from someone with your perspective.
Yeah. Well, I think it's clear for everybody that AI is here to stay. I mean, it's not just a trend right now. We're expecting it to become even say more and more present in our lives, in our day-to-day life. I like to have a parallel here and say that I believe that AI is going to impact our industry the way that the inventing of cars impacted the transportation system. Because even before cars, people were traveling from one place to another, goods were being delivered from one place to another. But as soon as the cars were invented, things became much easier. It was harder to travel with a horse or with something than with a car. So I think the same level of impact is going to be, we are going to witness within our industry. For ourselves, we are, say, trying to see both both dimensions of using AI. So first, we are looking into integrating it in our products. We're talking about right now about Ionos and about our hosting business where I'm part of. So we are trying to see what are the use cases that can be, improved, and what are the use cases where AI would fit in our products. We're talking right now about domain reselling, and we are doing some things in this direction. We are doing some things in the direction of what we are calling my website product. And actually, my colleagues at the group are having today and had yesterday and having today's presentation regarding my website product, which is a product designed for SMBs, for small companies to build their own website. So we are trying to look into those are some let's say possible use cases on one hand of integrating AI into our product. And second, I think it's equally important in terms of, let's say, AI and how it will impact us. It's in our processes and in our development process. And we are also looking here on how to harvest better AI, and we actually had some internal hackathons on exactly on this theme to see what are the tools that can be harvested by the development teams to improve their processes, to improve their development lifecycle, and to basically make their life easier. I think that at this moment we are still in the, I would say, in the beginning phase, but I would expect that in a couple of years to come, maybe even faster, AI and the tools based on AI are going to become a, basically a tool that's going to be uh, a must in a developer's toolbox.
Very interesting. Yeah. And I'm happy you mentioned that, because we say AI from a worker's perspective, it's a bit of a scary story, but the truth is that you actually, it's like with the cars, as you said. I really like your analogy, because then you free up time
Exactly.
to actually use brain and get
Exactly.
more out of the human resource than
Yeah,
without the help of AI. So that's really cool.
exactly. There are a lot of for developers. There are a lot of, let's say, time-consuming tasks and repetitive tasks that takes a lot of time. And instead of being creative, instead of just invest your time into what matters most, you spend your time doing repetitive tasks. So
Those tasks.
we already, like, I would like to give an example on that. It's not yet with AI, but it's something that we did in order to some years ago. We did in order to free up the space. So we are working on Ionos Cloud, and we are developing the Ionos Cloud. And one important part of Ionos Cloud, and an important part of the cloud product, the public cloud product, and hyperscaler is being able to have a tooling portfolio that customers can use to interact with your product.
Yeah.
So basically, when we're talking about a cloud product, an infrastructure product, customers need some ways to automate their infrastructure, need some ways to automate the setup that they are doing there. So that's why we're having a portfolio of tooling and a portfolio of SDKs that the developers can use. And we faced this exact question, similar question, a couple of years ago when we had to revamp the entire portfolio, and we face the decision of, okay, are we going to build it manually, or are we going to find a way to generate this stuff from the information that we are having?
Yeah.
And we decided that we would rather invest some more time in the beginning.
Now, yeah.
Exactly, invest more time in the beginning to put up a framework and to put up some tooling around it that would help us in the future generate this code, not write it manually. That would mean taking right now, thinking right now, working more right now, but in the future it's going to be easier for us to focus on things that really matter. And I think for such use cases, especially AI, it was not here a couple of years ago, but AI right now can really change the game. So yeah, that's how I think that things are going to look like. And I'm very excited.
It's something that you like. I can see.
Yeah, I really do. I really do.
Livius, you told us a tiny little bit about technology. So I have a question on following up on that. What are the most wanted technologies in your company?
So, as a general, so being a center of development, so we are having different teams, and of course, technologies are different in terms of lines of business and in terms of even different teams. But as a general aspect, we believe that nothing can replace a good community or a big community. And given this, we are looking into open source technologies, and this is mainly our focus. That's why, as a matter of fact, we are having a presentation. One of my colleagues is having a presentation on the main stage today at 4:30 about open source in telecom. So, two words that you wouldn't really expect to be that close together, but even there we are looking into open source, and this is our main, let's say, our main focus. And later this year in September, in 21st September, we are organizing the summit of LibreOffice here in Bucharest. And again, we are not looking just into using open source technology, but it's clear that you need to give back. It's a community, you use it and you need to give back. So I think that's as a general line, this is something that we are focusing. In terms of specifics, of course, there are differences in between the teams, but in, let's say, most of the cases we are using Java, we are using React.js, AngularJS for the front end part. We're having some teams right now, and we are focusing more on Golang. If we're talking about the running part, we are looking into Kubernetes and the entire, say, ecosystem around it.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. I find it very interesting because even though technology is the word of the day, you also said how important communities and actual people are. So I have a more people-related question. My last question for you, Livius. How was the transition from working fully at home to coming back to the office?
Yeah, there were interesting times we were put into. Um, we harvest collaboration, and we value collaboration more than anything else. And we believe that in order to achieve this, we don't think that we have a recipe for it, but instead each team is different. Each team has its own, let's say, specific needs. Each individual has its own specific needs. So we realize that if we want to encourage collaboration, we cannot do it without encouraging flexibility. That's why at this moment we are having two ways of working. We're having colleagues that are in full remote.
Nice.
Um,
Here in Romania,
here
or
in
also
Romania, here in Bucharest, we're having colleagues that are from different parts of the country, from Cluj, from Timișoara, from Iași, but also colleagues here in Bucharest have the option to work full remote. And at the same time, we are having a hybrid way of working, or hybrid option for the colleagues that want to use this hybrid way. At the same time, we saw that um, teams tend to find their way of doing this collaboration. So we see teams that are more in the office than the other ones. We see teams that like to spend a bit more time together in the office than the other teams. So it's about flexibility, and we think that it's probably a team decision more than anything else. So that's why we encourage this sort of flexibility. At the same time, we are trying. And we value, as I said in the beginning, last year DevTalks was mostly online, not entirely online, but mostly online. And for the presentation that we had, we tried to create somehow the environment in our office. We had some colleagues there in the office, so we took the presentation in front of them. So it was really nice from this perspective, but it couldn't compare to something that we see today here. So the level, the engagement, the feeling, the atmosphere that we are having here, it's not comparable. So we know that we have this need to socialize, we have this need to get together. So we try to encourage this by having regular events in the office and also outside the office, encouraging team to meet outside the office and organize it.
thank you so much,
Thank you.
Livius, for sharing all of this with us today, and thank you for being here. And I'll see you around. I don't know, are you a speaker today?
I'm not a speaker today, so I'm not a
Next
speaker
year.
this time, but I will be around. I'm waiting for my colleagues talk at 4:30, and yeah, I'll be around today.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Livius.
you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.